Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. When it comes to skincare products, best selling doesn't always mean best performing, and some of the most popular, viral, and hyped skincare products out there, honestly, I don't think are worth your hard-earned coin. Now, this is obviously just personal perspective, having tried these products and been, well, left underwhelmed. But in today's video, I want to share with you some hyper-popular skincare products I honestly hate. Sit back, relax, let's start some viral skincare fails. Now, before we get into the topic at hand, just a quick disclaimer to say, if you enjoy any of these products that I personally consider a fail, that's absolutely okay. As with everything in life, skincare is going to be personal, and what works for one person might not work for another, and vice versa. So before you all read me to filth and roast me in the comments, these are just my thoughts, feelings, opinions, and honestly, I would love to hear your perspective on the products mentioned today. It is always just worth remembering that we each have different skin types, we have different preferences, budgets, and all that going on. If you enjoy this style of content where we take a look at some bestsellers, some viral product, keep it chill and free-flowing, please let me know by reaching down and giving the video a big thumbs up and a like. This is honestly the best way of supporting me as a content creator, because the more likes the video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Now, without further ado, let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So we're going to hit the ground running with this viral sensation. This is the Vichy Mineral 89 Serum. This has been doing the rounds online for the past 3 years, with people saying it will give you the best plumping, hydrated, and juicy skin of your dreams. I was like totally taken in by that. Thought, okay, this is definitely worth a try. With all that hype and all that focus, let's put it through its paces. And honestly, I was just a bit underwhelmed. It's pretty much just a hyaluronic acid serum, and it costs £50. That's ridiculously expensive. I don't know what's happening at the drugstore with some of these like French pharmacy brands, here in the UK in particular, but going up wildly in price. So Vichy now has some really expensive products where before they were always considered quite affordable. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I just think the price point means that you could honestly be getting the same outcome at a fraction of the cost. This one, actually, I tried the original, which was a bit of a fail. This is the prebiotic one, which I think is fractionally better, but still just not worth it. Honestly, I think if you're looking for affordable, plumping, hyaluronic acid action, then the best is this. This is the reformulated, the ordinary hyaluronic acid 2% plus B5. Reformulated so it now has ceramides in to boost the barrier function. It's got more calming and soothing ingredients. And this actually has more molecular weights of hyaluronic acid than the Vichy. So you're going to get a much more, much more in-depth hydration experience. This is great. Fraction of the cost of this one. I just don't buy into the hype of this. Now, I have linked all the products mentioned today, the ones that I consider fails, and their alternatives where I mention them in the description box below if you did want to check them out, you know, read the reviews, look at the price point. But for me, I think The Ordinary just do it better, and I captured that reformulation in a recent video, which I'm going to leave a link to up there. So yeah, Vichy left me underwhelmed. Now let's come on to another like drugstore staple, which used to be affordable, but now again creeping up in price, and that's Olay, and in particular this product, the Olay Retinol 24. So this has been praised to the rooftops online, people saying hands down it's the best like retinol cream you'll ever find. Not really sure where that's coming from, so I'm going to share my experiences with it. I think the key issue I have with this is they don't disclose what the percentage is in terms of the active ingredient. Now, for some people, that's not a deal breaker. But for me, who's been using retinol for quite some time, I kind of need to know what strength it is so I can work out whether it's a step up, a step down, or kind of keeping it in the same range when it comes to swapping a product out for this one. I couldn't work that out. I reached out to them. They wouldn't say. They said it's their proprietary blend, which is honestly utter garbage. When a brand tells you that, they're just being secretive. There is no proprietary thing that they can absolutely tell you. They just choose not to. That kind of put me off. I used it and I was pretty underwhelmed. So I'm guessing this is a fairly low concentration of retinol, which isn't bad for beginners. Absolutely, if you're new to retinol as an ingredient, this could work. But I think the idea that this is going to be like next level, game-changing, hero retinol for all of us out there, I just think is a bit too much hype and not enough substance. This didn't do it for me, and yeah, whilst I think if you are completely new to retinol, this could be an okay place to start, I just think there's better options out there. This is also really expensive. It's like £48 here in the UK. You don't need to pay that for an effective retinol. This is way too expensive for the lack of transparency. Olay aren't a cruelty-free brand, which I only realised after I purchased it, researched it, and was like, yeah, never again. So they won't be getting my hard-earned coin again in the future, but having tried it, I honestly, putting aside the, fact they're not cruelty-free, which is a deal breaker for me, putting that aside, I think the lack of transparency should ring alarm bells for a lot of people. So yeah, this, not great, and just genuinely a bit underwhelmed. So coming on to a category of products rather than one specific product itself, and that's sunscreen sticks. So this is the Madagascar Centella Hyluciga Silky Fit Sun Stick by Skin 1004, which I actually think is probably one of the better of the sun sticks out there. But this one, yeah, just... I don't get the whole sunstick obsession. People go mad for them, but they've always left me feeling... I don't know what the point of them is. Some people like to use them for reapplication over makeup, but I've tried that and I still think it budges around and moves your makeup anyway. I think sprays kind of work a little bit better. I also I saw a video by Lab Muffin that said the amount of sunstick you actually have to apply to get a meaningful reapplication is ridiculous. And so actually, you're probably not going to be getting the great coverage that you think you're getting. Now, is it better to reapply with one of these than not bother reapplying at all? Absolutely, so I'll put that out there. But I just think, there are other alternatives. Here in Europe, I know this doesn't apply to those shopping in the US, unfortunately, because of some of the restrictions. But here in Europe, we actually have access to longer wear sunscreens. So you can find some sunscreens that will work for upwards of like 8 hours, which kind of get around the need for reapplication. This to me was like, this was like a revelation when this, when this happened. There are lots out there. I created my own long wear sunscreen, which again meant you could get around having to reapply it constantly. And I think I would prefer to go for something like that than the Sunstick. I have linked mine along with the discount code in the description box below, but I would also recommend the Sultan do a fantastic one. There's so many out there. I'll leave a range of these longer wear sunscreens in the description box that I would recommend over these Sunsticks, which I think are still going to budge your makeup around. It's not really a solution, and the amount you have to apply to get a meaningful reapplication means, for me at least, I think they're a little bit redundant. Now, next on here, I feel like I'm coming for the French pharmacy a lot in this video, and I'm genuinely not. I'm probably sure I'm not. There are so many amazing brands at the French pharmacy that I love. One brand which I think does some things well, but others less so, is La Roche-Posay. I really don't like their serums. I think they're pretty basic formulations, sky-high prices, a lot of drying alcohol in them as well, which I wasn't a fan of. Captured that in a recent video, which I'm going to leave a link to up there. That's a shorts video, so it's like a 60-second summary. I think their cleansers and their moisturizers are much better, but their viral product is the cicaplase Baume B5, which went through a reformulation. That reformulation took what was a holy grail for a lot of people to pretty mediocre in terms of its performance. They took out some of the beneficial ingredients, they added in things like cornstarch to give it a more matte feel, but that takes away from some of the hydrating elements. It was just underwhelming. Now, I know a lot of people were shocked because they didn't really advertise the reformulation, so oh, there must be a problem with my skin because this is amazing and it's no longer working for me, so my skin's to blame. No, the reformulation's to blame. And if you're actually looking for an alternative, the event Sickle Fate, which again is linked, is a far better alternative than this. For me, I don't personally need this style of product. My skin is oily enough as it is, heavy duty. I just don't need it. But I think the Roche-Posay surprised a lot of people with this reformulation, and not in a good way. So I think maybe the original would be, viral skincare worthy, but the new reformulation, bit of a thumbs down, honestly. The event being the closest thing to that original that you're still going to find. So we're coming on to two final products to round this out. Next, I'm going to talk about this. This is the Vaseline Lip Therapy. It comes in various sizes, different tubs. They do different flavours as well. I think they do an aloe one, and they do all sorts. There is nothing wrong with Vaseline. Some people will call it out as being toxic because they don't quite understand exactly how it's made and how it's derived. Some people will demonise them. You know what? It comes in for a lot of hate online. And I'm not going to pile on and add to that because I don't think I have any issues with how it's sourced, how it's formulated, what it's actually doing. I just don't think it's the be-all and end-all when it comes to lip care. You'll have a lot of people out there saying all you need is a slick of Vaseline and your lips will be pout ready and perfect. And that will work for a lot of people. But there's actually a lot of other high quality lip balms out there that'll do just that and add some meaningful long-term skincare benefit too. So I think the idea that all anyone ever needs is Vaseline is I think it's a bit of a mistake to be saying that. For a lot of people, yes, it genuinely is all you need. It's beautifully affordable, easily accessible. But I think we also need to understand that there are a lot of people out there that might need something a little bit more. You might be able to get a little bit more in terms of long-term hydration. I feel like Vaseline is like the sticking plaster. It will fix the problem in the short term. It might give some short-term relief. But in the long term, it's probably not going to correct the overall issue. And you might need some additional beneficial ingredients to do that. We come from a world where, particularly in the 90s and early noughties, a lot of lip balms were garbage and actually made things worse. They included ingredients such as capsaicin, which really irritates the skin, through to menthol, eucalyptus, which dries it out. Created a problem in the long run. So I think a lot of us retreated to Vaseline and was like, at least this isn't damaging our skin. It's doing what it needs to and it's not damaging the skin, which is true. But I just think there are some newer generation lip balms which just work that little bit better. So yeah, I did a whole video on my favourite lip balms, which again, I'm going to leave a link to up there. Those have way more beneficial ingredients and outcomes, I would say, than Vaseline. If Vaseline is your holy grail, don't abandon it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think just, as a word of warning to anyone out there that says, all you need is Vaseline, that might work for some, but some people might need a little bit more, which is kind of where I think my issue sits with it. Finally, we're going to talk, I'm not going to labour this point because I've talked about the past, cerave, however you pronounce it. Yeah, no. So I've not been a fan of CeraVe for years. I've covered that on the channel, so I don't need to go over it again. I actually think I've noticed the hype is dying down over the last 12 months. Certain people are boycotting CeraVe. Other people are saying, actually, some of their newer products aren't great. People are finally calling out the fact that they're not cruelty-free and actually saying, you know what, we kind of expect a little bit more from our skincare brands, which I think is really important. And I think some of the shine has just come off the brand. You still do see some hype, particularly around this hydrating cleanser. Revolution Skincare do a far better version. I also love the Face Facts Ceramide version, which is basically better than this and a fraction of the cost. There are better options out there. I'm not saying you need to abandon CeraVe, and that's why I'm ending on this, but for me, I'm glad that some of the hype is coming off the CeraVe bandwagon and people are looking for alternatives. I never thought any of their products were game-changing. I thought people were buying into the sponsorships that they were doing, particularly with dermatologists. They were sponsoring a lot of dermatologists to promote their products, and that kind of created that derm-approved, must be good kind of thing. I'm not disputing that, but again, people kind of forgot the sponsorship element, which is the same with any content creator, be they a dermatologist or not. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that CeraVe is kind of on the way out a little bit. Now I will say the one product from CeraVe that I think a lot of people say is next level and unparalleled is their salicylic acid wash, their salicylic acid cleanser, which, is just a standard 2% salicylic acid, but for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that follow this channel, say, yeah, but it just works so much better than any other salicylic acid wash, and I kind of do understand that. I think their formulation in that particular product, yes. Everything else, I think we can do differently elsewhere. So, there you go, I'm out of breath. A whistle-stop tour of super popular, super hyped, super viral skincare that I'm just not a fan of. Let me know if you disagree. Comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.